This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Here.
Councilman Pataglia.
Here.
Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Would everybody please rise to salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
The United States of America.
and to the republic
For which it stands,
one
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. There are no proclamations and presentations. There's no minutes to approve. On a sad note, I just found out today that longtime Hackensack resident Lenny Nix has passed away due to COVID-19 issues. Lenny was a longtime Hackensack resident. He was a Vietnam veteran and served his country. Suffered from some issues because of serving in Vietnam. Was a frequent flyer at council meetings, zoning board meetings, planning board meetings for years and years and years. Was very verbal, quite boisterous, very knowledgeable man, sometimes overly aggressive, but he always had Hackensack's people and the city at heart. He cared deeply about this community. He had some great ideas. He had some crazy ideas, but nevertheless, we're going to miss Nick. He was a great guy, and I'd like to have a moment of silence for him, please. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And with that, we'll go right to the city manager's report.
Ted, you're muted.
Sorry, it's Steve Kleiman. Before we go there, I just need to announce the cases from the closed session before we
Go
forget.
ahead. Yep.
So, you know, as just to disclose to the public that we did hold an electronic closed session at 5 o'clock today prior to this council meeting, during which a number of ongoing litigations were discussed, including the Bellaccio matter pending at the New Jersey Division of Civil Rights, the lawsuit filed by Riotto and several other police officers, the newly filed case by Mohammed Quadri, and the ongoing affordable housing litigation that is currently before the court for final approval. I think that was it.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, Ted, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is the city manager's report for December 8, 2020. Number one, due to the rise of COVID-19 cases in our area, the city offices have now been closed to the public until further notice. Please refer to hackensack.org for our department phone directory and assistance. 2, the city will be offering free meter parking on Main Street and Anderson Street until December 25th. I think the council will agree. We'll extend that till December 31st to the new year and start clean from there. We encourage and support small businesses and restaurants. So we're trying to give our local businesses as much of an opportunity to regain business and obviously enjoy the shopping and holiday season.
Excuse me. So a question. So we're going to start enforcing January 2nd?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
FDU is hosting their second annual virtual food drive. Please refer to hackensack.org under the notices for details on how you can participate. 4, the city is hosting a gingerbread house contest. Please refer to hackensack.org /events for contestant rules and details. Winners and prizes will be announced at the December 22nd council meeting. 5, The holiday season has come to take a ride down Hackensack Holiday Way. This is the festive drive through Fashidi Park featuring lights, characters, and creativity for the holiday season. Please refer to hackensack.org events for dates, times, and details. 6. Yesterday, the city lit our holiday tree and holiday lights on the green. Feel free to visit our virtual tree lighting on www.hackensack.org/video to enjoy the celebration of the season. And obviously you have the opportunity, as long as you maintain social distancing and a mask, to go to the green and see the tree firsthand. This would complete the city manager's report for the mayor and council on December 8th, 2020. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll go right into new business. Resolution 468-20.
Okay, this is a final adoption of ordinance number 47-2020, an ordinance to amend chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Vehicles and Traffic, to add a new handicapped parking space in section 49.2, parking for the handicapped. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay, need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward, give your name to the clerk. You will have to, there is no time limit on that.
Nope.
Nobody from the public. No motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Need a motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 47-2020 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Sorry. Resolution 469-20.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance 48-2020, an ordinance to amend chapter 14 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Court with respect to the issuance of administrative search warrants. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please give your name to the clerk. Hearing nobody from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Need a motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 48-2020 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 470-20.
A resolution for final adoption of ordinance 49-2020, an ordinance to amend chapter 148 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Streets and Sidewalks to comprehensively revise Article 7, excavation and openings to reflect best practices. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, we're ready. Next one. Sorry, I just got a couple of phone calls from work. I'm trying to maneuver around. Resolution.
I don't, so anybody from the public for this one? Guess not.
Hearing no members of the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 49-2020 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Canestrino, I'm gonna have to ask you to take over for a minute. I have an emergency at work. I have to call in.
Okay.
All right? Give me 1 minute. I should be back hopefully in a minute.
No problem. Go right ahead, John. Okay, Deb, just, where were we? I just got confused for a
That's
second.
okay, we're up to resolution 471-20.
Okay, so we finished 470-20, right?
Yes,
Okay, so resolution 471-20.
this is an introduction and adoption of ordinance number 50-2020, an ordinance to amend chapter 166 of the city code, Uniform Construction Code Enforcement, to waive the fees associated with certain permits required for outdoor tented dining during winter months during a public health emergency. We need to hold a public hearing on this.
Yeah, may I jump in for a minute?
Go ahead, yeah.
You know, just because I think that an explanation is warranted. As a result, there was some recent guidance put out by the New Jersey Division of Community Affairs as to what is required for restaurants to be able to continue to offer winter dining. Permits are required from the Hackensack Construction Code Office in order to do this. And it is sort of a time-sensitive requirement that those permits be obtained. Given and obviously the reason for that makes sense, right? If there's a heavy snow, the type of tents that you might use in the summer are not necessarily the type of tents that are necessarily correct for winter months. So you may have to come up with a snow plan. There are various things that you need to do to ensure the public's health and safety. Because these permits must be applied for before the next council meeting, and given the public health emergency and the need to have a viable restaurant community in Hackensack, the city believed it was appropriate to bring this up using the city's emergency authority, which is provided for by New Jersey statutes Title 40, to allow us to introduce and adopt it at the same time, so that the people coming in to get their permits sorted before the deadline don't have to pay that. Obviously, given the straits that some of our restaurants are in, every little bit helps. This does require an affirmative vote of at least 4 members of the council. I don't know if the mayor will make it back for the vote, but we do need at least 4
Hey there.
affirmative votes for this to pass. So just so you
But let me
understand.
ask you a question. So they have to do like a ask for another permit, or the permit they already got is good to March or something like that? Or they have to renew it?
So this
What are they gonna do?
So there's different types of permits, right? There's a city permit to operate outdoor dining, right? That's has nothing to do with the construction office. That's just a city permit under our city code. And you don't need a uniform construction code permit from the construction office in the summertime months. You can, unless it's certain, extremely large tents, you can pretty much put up a tent. But under New Jersey construction law, between November and March, they want to make sure that a construction official has reviewed any tents of any significant size during the winter months to make sure that if there's a winter storm, that they're not going to be a danger. So this is specifically, we've already waived the permit fees for the city permit for outdoor dining in general. This is to waive the fees specifically to go to Ernie Cisco's construction code office to get the necessary permits to be able to keep a tent working in the winter if it's the intention of restaurants to offer winter dining with a tent. And obviously there's other rules that are safety rules about capacity and things that the health department deals with. This is strictly the construction code issue. That's why we're doing it this way and asking the council to approve this in one meeting rather than two, which is, you know, not a common situation, but we think given the public health emergency and the circumstances I've described makes some sense.
Okay,
Okay.
All right, so we
where
need
we
to
at?
open, you need a motion to open to the public for comment.
Okay, need a motion to open to the public, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on this, please give your name to the clerk. Hearing no one from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 50-2020 as introduced is now passed and finally adopted pursuant to the provisions of NJSA 40:81-21 emergency ordinances, which states that an ordinance for the immediate preservation of the public order, peace, health, or safety, or to remedy an emergency caused by an epidemic may be passed to take effect immediately without publication and at one meeting by the vote of one more of the majority of the members of the city council.
Thank you. Resolution 472-20.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 51-2020, an ordinance to repeal and replace Chapter 45A of the City Code, Affordable Housing, to address the requirements of the Fair Housing Act and the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, UHAC, regarding compliance with the city's affordable housing obligations.
Need a motion to introduce, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 51-2020 is introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on December 22nd, 2020 at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and at the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 473-20.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 52-2020, an ordinance to amend Article 2, Development Fees of Chapter 45A of the City Code, Affordable Housing, to comply with current state affordable housing regulations.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 52-2020 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and the said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on December 22nd, 2020 at 7:00 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 474-20.
This is a resolution authorizing tax refunds for state board judgments and duplicate payments.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
second,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
aye,
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 475-20.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Hackensack authorizing the pre-suit settlement of pending claim against PSEG for damage to a city sewer pipe.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
second,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
aye,
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 476-20.
A resolution authorizing exemption for Block 504.02, Lot 14.05, 80 Commerce Way, Pilgrim Mission Church, Inc., for the 2020 tax year.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
second,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
aye,
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 477-20.
A resolution authorizing transfer of 2020 budget appropriations.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
second,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
aye,
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 478-20.
A resolution authorizing change order number 1 to HBC Company, Inc. for Main Street traffic signal improvements.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
second,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
aye,
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 479-20.
A resolution authorizing the awarding of a co-op contract for the purchase of a 2020 dump truck body for $171,353.73.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
second,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
aye,
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 480-20.
This is a resolution authorizing the awarding of a co-op contract for the purchase of a 2020 dump truck chassis for $103,962.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
second,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
aye,
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 481-20.
A resolution for the authorization to advertise for bids for Beach Street roadway improvements, NJDOT funded.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
second,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
aye,
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 482-20.
This is a resolution authorizing the payment of bills.
Need a motion to pay the bills.
Offer.
second,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
aye,
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, before we go forward with the consent agenda, does anybody have a conflict with anything on the consent agenda?
Nope.
Hearing nobody from the council with conflict, I need a motion or move forward with the consent agenda, please.
Okay, the following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. Consent agenda consists of resolutions 483-20 through 492-20. Resolution 483-20 is a resolution authorizing renewal of an inactive liquor license for Yoshida Enterprises for the 2020-2021 license term. 484-20 is a resolution supporting the drive sober or get pulled over 2020 year-end holiday crackdown. Resolution 485-20 is a resolution authorizing leave of absence without pay for Jessica Rodriguez, Clerk 1 in the Police Department. Resolution 486-20 is a resolution authorizing the City of Hackensack to adopt the New Jersey Office of Emergency Management and the Federal Emergency Management Agency as the official hazard mitigation plan. Resolution 487-20 is a resolution authorizing renewal of membership in the South Bergen Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. Resolution 488-20 is a resolution showing notice of intent to award a contract under a national cooperative purchasing agreement to Sourcewell for a street sweeper. Resolution 489-20 is a resolution awarding professional service agreement to Post Pollock, PA Special Litigation Counsel. Resolution 490-20 is a resolution awarding professional service agreement to Chasen, Lamparello, Malone, and Capuzio, PC for Special Litigation Counsel. Resolution 491-20 is a resolution awarding professional service agreement to DeMarco and DeMarco Esquires for Public Defender. And Resolution 492-20 is a resolution authorizing a place-to-place transfer extension of premise for license number 0223-33055-010 Cap Diner Hackensack LLC to add storage in the basement. And we need a motion.
Need a motion to adopt the consent agenda as it was read, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, with that, I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who would like to speak, please give your name to the clerk. You will have 3 minutes. Debbie, you have the time?
I've got it.
Okay. First member from the public, please. Hearing nobody from the public. motion-
John, this is Pete Marcassani.
Hey, Pete.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for those kind words upon Lenny Nix's death. You know, he was a real gadfly, gave so much of his physical and mental health to Vietnam, and was poorly treated when he came home by a lot of people, but he hung in there as best he could with his own personal issues. So I thank you for the kind words that you said about him. I have a couple of questions. One of them has to do with the fire department. I saw on the news today that we have a 30% or 25% issue with the force because of COVID-19 and quarantine. So I was wondering how the city is anticipating getting along under those circumstances. Maybe it's too soon to tell. You haven't had a chance to really huddle with Chief Freeman. The second thing is with the city locked up in terms of City Hall, have we been able to keep the payroll whole for the employees, or have we had any layoffs or furloughs or whatever? I certainly hope that we're able to keep everybody gainfully employed. So just those two questions. Thank you.
I'm going to leave them both to the manager. Ted?
Yes, sir. Mayor, currently, the last check I had was there was 100 plus firefighters and dispatchers that were either COVID positive or in isolation.
Did you say 100?
Yeah, say 100.
You
I'm
said
sorry.
100.
I'm sorry.
I was
So
gonna
Chief,
say, I
so
can't
Chief-
defend that one.
no, I can't either. Chief Freeman, I wrote 100 on my pad for another issue, and I looked at it, and I don't know why it's stuck in my head. In either case, Chief Freeman took the proactive stance separated the officers that were exposed and has also utilized calling officers that there's a section of the fire department that does home inspections. There's a section of the fire department that does the regulatory stuff. So we are now adjusted our shifts for coverage. So right this minute, all is well. And so far, we're in good shape thus far. We're hoping, obviously, that these officers that are in isolation, and quite candidly, I was forced into isolation because of the possibility of exposure. And we have something, the health department is doing tracing. We make sure that the people that are exposed are isolated. We're cleaning offices. We do it internally. Obviously, I'm going to do some checking on some outside services from an outside company to guarantee the employee safety, because obviously when these COVID cases come up, it's alarming to coworkers, but it's also alarming for their own personal family protection. The other issue is that the city at this point has not laid off any officers or employees. The only thing that we have put on hold is our crossing guards. Obviously, with the school being closed and doing remotely, the activation of our crossing guard staff has not been utilized. But they obviously have a means of collecting unemployment until they are restored. So obviously, like everybody else, we're kind of waiting and hanging on to see what happens next.
Thanks,
Okay.
John.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else from the public? Hearing none, motion to close?
Offer.
Second.
Oh, God bless you.
Wait,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims,
Aye.
Councilmember
John,
Pataglia.
John, one second.
Hello?
Oh, this is Victor Hackensack.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. What happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a question for Ted, and maybe Ted can answer this question for me. Ted, you understand the Sunshine Law, correct?
I do.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody else understands the Sunshine Law. I'm not, I'm trying to understand it myself. But how many city council members are allowed to meet without together, without being a quorum meeting, without holding notice that they're having a meeting?
Oh, my God.
Dave, could you please explain the sunshine law to Mr. Geddes, please?
You
Dave,
want
you
me
there?
to do it? Oh, sorry, I thought you said Dave. I misheard you. The Sunshine Law basically provides that a majority of the council cannot meet together with the express purpose of discussing or acting upon a governmental function. So it doesn't mean that the entire council can't be together in the same place all at once, but it means that you can't have a majority with the purpose of essentially conducting or engaging in the process of legislating or engaging in some other governmental function.
What is the number that can be together?
You can have in a five-person council, you can have two people. Once you have three, then you have a majority of the council. And then at that point, as I said, you're not supposed to be engaging in governmental functions.
And that has never happened, correct? To your knowledge.
Well, I can tell you since I've been here, I don't believe anybody has ever brought an Open Public Meetings Act complaint. I mean, I certainly am not with the council at every minute of every day, but I can tell you that no one has ever brought any sort of validated complaint to my attention since I've been here.
Okay, but I have just one more question, if you don't mind. what
Sure.
if the council shall, if they are more than two are meeting when they are talking city business, what is the penalties or the fine? What is that? Well, I mean, how's that handled?
Well, you know, a complaint would have to be brought, and usually my experience is, you know, someone might be upset because of, you know, some governmental action was taken and would, you know, file a lawsuit basically to challenge, you know, and say, hey, look, some governmental action, there was a Sunshine Act violation. But, you know, on the other hand, that can be cured, right? If it turns out there was an issue with the Sunshine Act, then you might have to do a do-over, for example, on something that was already done. So I can't really answer your question directly, aside from saying someone would have to bring some sort of court action or some action somewhere to challenge a decision.
Okay, I just want to get, a better understanding of the law. Thank you.
Yeah. And look, I will just add, if you have a reason to believe that there's something of concern, you can always contact my office and tell me what you think the issue is. And if there's a legitimate issue, as I said, there are ways to correct Open Public Meetings Act problems. You know, they can be what's called cured if you're aware of them. So, you know,
Okay.
things are fixable, but only if we know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public, please?
Yes, good evening. This is Bridget from Hackensack. I am calling concerning the glossy marketing book that the city has actually received. The residents of Hackensack have actually received. And on the front cover, we're talking about a landmark affordable housing plan. Well, Ms. Catastrino, you and the council did not have any intentions about affordable housing until the work group of Hackensack and myself brought that up. We are the ones that brought it to your attention because you would have kept that hidden so far underneath where no one would have ever known you guys 5 years ago were in talks with the fair share housing. And then you make a decision to think that 10% is a landmark affordable housing plan? Are you kidding me? So what I think you should happen is you need to go back to that marketing firm and they need to rescind this, and you need to include the work group of Hackensack because we are the ones that brought that to your attention. We are the ones at every meeting. And I have gone back and looked at maybe about 9 to 10 videos. And in those 9 to 10 videos, someone from the work group of Hackensack brought that to your attention about affordable housing here in Hackensack. And if you had leadership, true leadership, you would have given more than 10%, and you would have given it to the buildings that were built down there. But when you sat down with those developers and you went with those agreements, you sold Hackensack to the city, to the developers. You didn't care. You guys didn't care anything about the residents of Hackensack. You didn't care about anything but your own glorified. But I told you before, next year is the election year. You can put out that Progress 1 report, but that Progress 1 report don't tell the truth. It just glorifies you guys. So what I'm gonna say is, I think you need to go back and have them do that over again and add the work group of Hackensack and then thank us on that end. And Leo, I have something for you.
Go ahead.
Someone
Go ahead,
told me that you, maybe last year sometime, that you were out in the middle of Ross Street hollering and screaming at somebody. I don't know who you were hollering and screaming at, but I hope elected officials don't be hollering and screaming at residents of Hackensack.
Can you prove who that was, Bridget?
I don't know who it was, but if that
So
was true,
then
I will find out. I will find out.
Find out.
You
All
find
right,
out.
that's it. Enough. What
I
number
will
we at?
not only will I find out, when I find out, I think that I will call the state general attorney's office to do an investigation on that. Because you don't get to holler at any residents if you were in the middle of a street. You should be ashamed of yourself. And if you're bullying anybody, you really should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, boy. All right. What time are we at, Deb?
Time is up. It's been up.
Time is up. All right. Well, we're going to respond to that. We're going to respond to it pretty harshly. I'm going to let Deputy Mayor go first, and we'll let Steve Kleiman go.
Wait, Mayor, you have to finish. We have to finish the roll call. We had, unless there's somebody else that was gonna speak.
Oh, yeah, I would like to speak. Randy Glover.
Why don't, let's, Debbie, can we just rescind that we weren't closing the meetings to the
Oh,
public?
you never finished the whole roll call, so we'll just do it all over again.
Okay, so let's just, John, I believe the mayor asked that I respond to Ms. Rucker's comments.
Did you want to do
Right.
that, or?
Yes.
I think Randy Glover wanted to speak.
It doesn't mean we cannot respond to a comment.
Yeah, I'm allowed
Okay.
to respond to a comment, and then Randy, you'll have your turn, okay? All right, first of all, Ms. Rucker, I don't believe I knew you 5 years ago. And you could go back and you can follow the paper trails to see that this whole initiation to work with Fair Share and to come up with a settlement agreement our discussions began even prior to 5 years ago, but the official paperwork filed to insist upon having a hearing on this took place 5 years ago. I believe that's before the work group was formed, or definitely before I ever saw the work group come to a council meeting. So let's just get our facts straight, that the city had been working on this long before the work group brought this to our attention or attempted to bring something to our attention. And you're confused about a number of things. When you do something like this, the city does not act in solitude. It acts in conjunction with the members of the state, in conjunction with Fair Share Housing. This settlement agreement was many years worth of effort put into by the city officials and the state of New Jersey. And the state of New Jersey has reasonable requests that it places upon the cities as far as affordable housing goes. And the 10% set aside is the reasonable percentage that the state had asked the city to imply. In addition to that, it asked, and we worked together on a number of overlay zones where it made sense for the city and understanding by Fair Share. They want to have affordable housing near modes of public transportation. There's a whole list of things that the state is very interested in providing access for folks that are living in affordable housing. So those considerations were what determined where that affordable housing would happen. And I know I've explained this to you many times, but I will explain this to you once again. The downtown, specifically the downtown, did not really have, if any, very few, did not really have much, if any, residential. There were really very few people that were living on Main Street or in the downtown area as we've defined it. So for the city, we saw this as an opportunity to bring more revenue into the city. Now, bringing more revenue into the city helps everyone, regardless of your socioeconomic status. It helps everyone because by having more revenue, it lowers taxes not only on homeowners, but on folks that own apartments. So therefore, the rents don't have to increase to cover it. So by bringing more revenue into the city, we were helping everyone in the city, regardless of their socioeconomic background. But we also saw a need to develop more affordable housing, which is why we initiated this process 5 years ago, officially 5 years ago, but discussions before that, pretty much as soon as we took office 7.5 years ago or 7 years ago. So the public does need to hear the truth. And the newsletter that goes out quarterly, as it has for years and years. And years. Excuse me.
Watch your language, please.
It's not your turn to speak. It's my turn to speak. That newsletter has gone out quarterly, and it was important that folks understand the hard work that the city put into this. And there's many municipalities, many towns that wish they had a fair share agreement. And for us to accomplish that and for us to be proud of that is very much worth noting. And we hope to soon be able to work with the developers that we've been in contact with over the years to see this come to fruition. That was step one. Step two is now we're working on the spending plan for the monies that we've already collected and set aside to help substantiate the building of this affordable housing, because the city has to contribute in some way, or this is never going to happen. And the fact that we were able to collect monies from the development downtown is another key important fact in obtaining that money so that we can pursue our responsible act of developing the affordable housing. Again, our obligation, according to Fair Share, is only 60 new units being developed. We're not holding to that. As many as we can get developed in the city that makes sense, that's what we've pledged, and we still continue to pledge that we will continue to do that. But we need to collect funds so that we can help folks build the affordable housing, and we need to continue in all of these initiatives. It's not a one track. You seem to think that this is just a one-way track. I want affordable housing, I demand it, I'm going to get it. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. We understand, and we have responsible people that are experts in this field that have guided us through this. And quite honestly, yes, I'm very proud that we were able to accomplish this, and I'm very proud to have the support of this entire council that made this a priority and will continue to make this a priority. Okay, thanks, John.
Go ahead. Steve, did you have any comment on this?
On the affordable housing specifically?
Yeah, on anything to do with it.
Well, I mean, look, you know, all I can say is that we are continuing with, you know, what we are supposed to be doing. We have legislation that's on for first reading today. You know, we are going to go forward with this process in good faith. You know, this was not easy. This took a lot of hard work and effort to come up with this. And towns throughout New Jersey have not been able to accomplish this. And so, you know, I feel, I get the people might say, you know, we can always do more, but what's being done here will be significant. It is something that you should be proud of. And you can always look for efforts to improve affordable housing. This doesn't necessarily limit you just because you've done this. You always have opportunities if a new affordable housing project comes in to consider them. It's a floor, not a ceiling, but it shows good faith. And if it didn't show good faith, it never would have been approved by Fair Share. It never would have been approved by the court-appointed special master, who is an expert on whether these are fair and whether they will actually provide meaningful affordable housing opportunities, and it would have never been approved by the court. So the very fact that these things have happened, I think, is a reflection that this is an important, meaningful plan. There's still a lot of work to be done, but you're putting the effort in. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think you're going to show that those opportunities are going to be there. I don't really know what more can be said than that.
Could you just touch briefly on how this lawsuit with the Fair Share Housing came to be?
Well, what happened was under affordable housing laws, if you do not have what's called immunity, then you are subject to what's called a builder's remedy action, meaning that a developer can come in and sort of override your own zoning wishes and potentially put a project that you might not support. So what happens is that we actually filed this lawsuit back, I want to say in 2015, 2016, you know, seeking to demonstrate that we were prepared to engage in this process to try and get a court's approval for our affordable housing plans and concepts. And really ever since 2015, that's something that this predates me, this predates Ted. It obviously doesn't predate you, but that this council, before your current set of professionals were in place, began to think about and began to work on. And again, these things are complicated. They take a long time. If you read about this, many towns have been denied. I think right now there's been stories in the Bergen Record about Wayne, you know, essentially losing their immunity, and, you know, some developers going to come in and build a project. So you guys stuck with it. You know, you came up with a plan, with a creative, original plan that would again, protect your downtown core and the redevelopment, but at the same time, provide meaningful, affordable housing. And as I said, it's not just us saying this, it's fair share, it's the special master, and it's a court. So you don't have to necessarily take my word for it or even the council's word for it, but you do sort of have to take the word of the people who are neutral and have to weigh these actions as to whether they're fair and reasonable for everybody involved. And they all universally have.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your explanation. So I just want to go back even farther than the 5 years, which the city instituted the lawsuit against itself with fair share housing. So we were held to the fire to come up with a plan to move forward to meet affordable housing requirements. We've done that quite well. The plan was accepted. But going back even before that, the city had a affordable housing on its mind. It was working where the probation site is that the county owned. And we put together a beautiful project, was a combination where the bus depot is. So it involved New Jersey Transit. It involved the county, Bergen, selling it to us. It involved the developer who was doing the project, and the city of Hackensack, which was contributing to the project. That was over about 6 or 7 years ago. Kathy,
Yes,
you know
absolutely was. It was shortly after we came office in our prior term.
Exactly. And that was about 160 units, I believe, in that building of affordable housing, including veterans housing, and it included public parking. It was a great project. Unfortunately,
and we had the developer buy into it. We had someone all lined up to get the job done.
no, it was ready to go. Unfortunately, the county did not want to sell the property, and they love the project, and they're pretty much doing a very similar project, except there won't be any affordable housing. It'll be a different type of housing for workforce people who are in the workforce locally. But the city has been trying, and Kathy and Steve both said this doesn't happen overnight. And I can appreciate the fact that the work group is 2 years ago was looking into this, but to be quite honest with you, and I'm not here to bust anybody's bubble, this was done 5 years ago, started, and we've been trying, unfortunately, instead of when we tried to explain this to people in the work group, we didn't get any, we'll work with you on this. We got political stuff where we're coming after you in the election and, yada, yada, yada. And it became political. To me, the work group is we're politicians, so obviously we're political. To me, the work group is political as we are, because they basically have thrown down the gauntlet that this is about the next election. Well, if you're gonna try to win the next election on we're not working on fair share housing or low income housing, we're doing fine. The city's doing fine. It's going to happen. These things don't happen quickly. It takes time. As the deputy mayor said, the whole rehabilitation plan was put into effect to bring revenue into the city, because we are a small city with no open space, like Wayne was just mentioned, to build, where we have hundreds of acres available property to build reasonable units and stuff like that. It's just not available here in Hackensack. So we got creative. The rehabilitation plan in itself is an award-winning project. And when you go up and down Main Street, you can see what's going on. Now, for Ms. Rucker to claim that we are doing nothing for the citizens, we have lowered the tax levy 3 or 4 years in a row now. All right. We pledged to do it for at least 5, and we'll continue to do it as long as possible. We're bringing in revenue from these buildings that'll be coming in that, like Deputy Mayor said, it helps everybody. Everybody, every homeowner deserves help. All right. Every resident, apartment dweller deserves help. Every apartment owner deserves help. So we're here, we're helping everybody. Now, you could sit there and beat your drum that we did this just because you started coming to council meetings, but that's just not the facts. It's not factual at all. So with that, Mr. Glover, you're up next.
Yeah, good evening, Randy Glover, Hackensack. So, John, I just want to say that I don't think the work group is a political action group. It doesn't have a 501c4. No, it isn't, Leo. You guys have a 501c4 probably. There's no PAC or anything with the work group. I mean, maybe it should have one, But I just want to ask about the affordable housing in the fair share agreement. Was that, I'm kind of confused. Was there an agreement that was signed in 1999 that is valid from 1999 to 2025 that actually limits the amount of fair share housing to be built, and the maximum probably was 60? And one of the reasons that the city took itself to court was to make sure that there wouldn't be any additional housing if someone else took them to court. And the other thing, what really concerns me, is the overlay when you say that, you know, we have inclusionary zones. I thought Hackensack was an inclusionary city or an inclusionary town. To me, when you start talking about inclusionary zones and overlay, you're segregating people. And I don't think we're into segregation, right?
No, absolutely not.
Right. So,
Randy, if I may, before you get too far downstream with this, what that means, the only thing that means is that throughout the city, and this is, you know, pretty much acceptable practice throughout the state, the requirement, and again, that we have here in the city would be either you build your 10% or you pay certain monies into this trust fund that will contribute towards us having the money to help others build, okay? If you're in an overlay zone, what the word inclusionary means, you must build. So if you're in that zone, so if I come in with a project and I'm in that particular zone, I can't buy out of it. I can still give extra money in the trust fund if I'd like to, but I am obligated that I must include, and that's what the including means, I must include affordable housing in the development that I build, and it must be at a minimum 10%. So what it's doing is it's just saying in certain areas of the town, you can't put money into a fund and not build. So it's a way of making sure that the affordable housing does get built. And the decision about where these were going to go, as I think I mentioned before, had a lot of input from Fair Share as to what made the most sense. You know, people commuting, people near jobs, people being able to get to jobs, people being able to get to schools, the whole situation. And that was all part of the decision making as to where what we're calling these overlay zones. But it has nothing to do with segregation. You could still build, you know, and we tell everyone, I had a meeting today, we tell everyone, we would rather you build than you contribute to the fund. And, but we always say that. But should they be in one of these overlay zones, Randy, they must. And that's what this ordinance puts in place, is now there's no wiggle room. Our prior ordinances never had that. Now this ordinance is defining and saying, in those particular areas, you must build the affordable housing, should you choose to do so. So that's what it means. It's not segregating. It's kind of enforcing that happens. I'm sorry if I took some of his time, Debbie, please.
I stopped it.
Thank you.
Go ahead, and continue.
So my question is, what's left? So people are building, what, 4,000 to 6,000 units and only have to include 60 fair share housing units, of which I think 25 was counted for senior citizens and some infrastructure repair. So it's almost like a net sum of zero. You know, I'm all about progress. I just don't believe in the trickle down effect. When I see a studio apartment for $1,950 a month, I just don't see it. The math to me, the math doesn't add up. And to me also, I don't know how well we were represented. I mean, to say that Fair Share, I think Fair Share was backed into a corner. If there was going to be a true sense of inclusion, I would think that this council would get together with, it doesn't even have to be the work group, it just be concerned citizens, to look at the agreement that was signed in 1999 and to perhaps sit down and say, okay, I don't think this makes real sense. And how can we work this out? You know, the overlay inclusionary zone, that's fine, whatever. But you're still talking about 4,000 to 6,000 units going up that does not have affordable housing. That definitely changes the demographics. It changes so many things, the fabric of the city. You know?
I disagree. I
John,
disagree.
you disagree?
I'm gonna make a comment there because I purposely went out of my way and met with the manager of one of our buildings that is already rented out.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's a slippery slope because I want to make sure I don't, you know, ask the wrong questions. But basically I said, what is the demographic of your apartment building? And there's probably 200 people living in that building.
Mhm.
And this woman, the manager, born and raised in Hackensack, went through the school system, went through Hackensack High School, all right, says it's just like Hackensack. It's a mixture of everybody. So for you to say the demographics automatically changing is just a misrepresentation of what's really happening in these buildings, all right?
Financially, financially, the demographic, I don't think there are many residents here that are willing to pay.
Randy, you have to understand, when the rehab plan was put into effect, we knew affordable housing had to be done. We knew it wasn't going to be on Main Street. We knew Main Street had to be, because of the rehab plan, and it was separate and it was supported by the state, had to be a separate entity in order to be the catalyst to make everything work for this city. All right? That's, you know, we knew
John,
that.
there was
And
actually,
at the time we were meeting it was COA at the time, or
that's fair share housing. It's the same thing.
it's a little different. Fair share housing.
Right. It's the same thing.
But COA has morphed so many times. I mean, Christie killed it. It's back. It's, you know, you talk about 1999. It's changed at least 5 or 6 times since 1999.
But you're still operating under the same agreement that you only had to do 60 units. So it has to change.
Let me put an end to that statement that you're also misunderstanding. Okay,
Sure.
In these overlay zones, all right. When we have 60, we don't say, okay, goody goody, we stop building affordable housing. No, as long as you're building in any of those areas, you must still have the 10% at least, at a minimum, build of affordable housing. The 60 is just a number that was out there that when Fair Share came in, their plan was, you have to show us right now that you have people interested enough that are willing to put that 60 in before we'll even have a serious discussion. And that's what we did by bringing developers in, where we could prove we had a number of interested parties that would at least do that 60. But that's the minimum, and it doesn't stop there. So that overlay zone, this ordinance is in place. This goes on forever unless some other council gets in and repeals it. But this is,
I don't think it's going to go on.
This is the work we're most proud of, that will stay in existence as long as this council is in office, because this is what we put there. And however many units get built, they're going to continue to build the affordable housing. They can't buy
But that's still going to be outside of what's being built. The 10%, let's be clear, the 10%
His time is up.
Talking about, okay, the 10% that you're talking about is really specific overlay zones. It's not what's being built right now.
Oh, all right, you're out of time, but I'll just try and explain one more time. But the 10%, what's being built right now must contribute based on 10% of their units. They must contribute a cash amount into this trust fund, which gives us the money we need so that when someone comes in the overlay zone and says, you know, city council, we want to build affordable housing, but we can't afford it. We need $3 million. Where are we getting it from? We're getting it from the trust fund. So it was important that we established a means where we had money to supply the development of the affordable housing. People don't come in and say, oh, I want to build affordable housing and I'm willing to take a $80 million loss on this building. That's not what happens. People come in and say, we're going to be partners with the city. You're going to help us so we can afford to build the affordable housing. So we first had to define a mechanism to get some money so that we could be active participants in this. And let's, you know, we can have an offline conversation because I think you're way over your time and I'm way over my time too.
All right, let's move forward. Is there anybody else from the public? Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, John.
Anybody else from the public? Motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unopposed? Stephanie?
Good evening, everyone. Once again, we are beginning to see the numbers of COVID cases rise, so we have to continue to be diligent And we have been forced to cancel a lot of the events and celebrations that had brought so much happiness and tradition to our residents during the holiday season. But as our city manager mentioned during his report, the city has been working diligently and creatively on ways to keep the traditions going while making safety a priority. Please continue to visit our local businesses to show your support throughout the holiday season. And the city is once again waiving meter fees in our shopping districts to help our residents and our businesses, save some money. Some of the new traditions include the Hackensack's Holiday Way in Fashini Park and our gingerbread contest. And with all the positive feedback we received from our Halloween pumpkin carving contest and the booth through, I'm sure this will be just as successful. So try to spread the word and get as many people involved as possible, and just something to do this holiday season. We want to thank all our city employees that make these events possible. It takes a lot of time and effort to plan these events and these ideas. I would also like to thank all the city employees and healthcare workers who are working tirelessly once again to help keep the city safe as we're going through another wave of COVID cases. And lastly, we're sorry to hear of the loss of Mr. Nix, and sorry to his good friends, Mr. Susano and Mr. Marcassani, for their loss. I know they were very good friends with Mr. Nix. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Steph. I'm also so sorry to hear about Lenny. He really was full of information about the city of Hackensack and other towns as well. But, for our concern, if you wanted to understand anything, he had more opinions about railroads and buses, and he knew this city inside and out. And I feel like I have a little bit of a personal relationship, or had, with him as well. He happened to be in the same rehab when my husband was there at one point. And he was our lunch partner every day for a number of months. And we really became to have a meeting of the minds between him and myself and my husband. So I'm very sorry also to hear about that. I had some on my list of things to talk about. One of them was affordable housing. I think I beat that to death, so I'm not even going to go there. Other thing on my list was we're so proud that we're starting to see some progress with the two-way conversion of Main Street. So a week or so ago, we opened up two-way from Berry Street north. So right now, from Berry Street going all the way north, all of Main Street is two-way. This is something that, we've been working on and trying to get done, and we're so happy to see that progress. So again, I want to warn everyone, be careful, because, you do forget, we've been one way for a long time. I remember when it was two-way, but again, my age is showing now. So many of us, out there in TV land don't remember it. So you've got to get used to it. So be careful and remember that it is two-way now. And we've got to stop some of our bad habits. When it was one way, because it was two lanes, unfortunately, people got used to, hey, I'll just double park and run in and get my pizza or my sandwich or whatever. Now that it's just one lane of traffic in each way, we cannot do that. We can't stop traffic because you want to run out and pick something up. You have to find a parking spot and do it. So please, both the mayor, myself, and other council members, we've seen a number of cases like this. We have to get out of that bad habit and keep the traffic flowing. Again, Main Street being two-way is really there to support our businesses. That's the purpose. If you want to drive quickly to get from one point A to point B in town, there's River Street and there's State Street. Main Street is for those people who are there to patronize the businesses. And that's one of the real fundamental purposes in having it be a two-way street. We do have plans so pretty much when you look at the Main Street right now, from Atlantic Street going south is two-way, and then from Berry going north is two-way. So the gap there is from Berry to Atlantic. And we wished we could have all the work done, including, all the streetscape and the benches and stuff in that area. But we had some Suez issues with water. We've had some PSD&G issues. So it's not going to look as pretty as it's going to look when we're done in the spring, but we are going to have the street open two ways by the end of the year. So we're also, it's phase 2 that we're looking forward to. So hopefully, if everything stays good the way it is right now, by the end of the year, the entire length of Main Street from Essex all the way north will be two ways. And I think it's long in the waiting, and happy to hear that it's going to be coming to fruition soon. Again, the tree lighting, we did the filming of it yesterday, but the video of it is on the city website for anyone who'd like to see it. There's, wonderful performance by one of our own Hackensack superstars, so you can hear some Christmas music. And I want to thank everyone who participated in making the video. I think, at this time, we wish we could be together, but we know we can't. So it was the least we could do as a city to provide some entertainment and still see the tree be lit. So if you have the opportunity, go to the city website and spend a couple minutes taking a look at it. Steph mentioned a few of the other things that are going to be happening, the drive-through especially. But again, just word to the wise, it's a drive-through. We're not going to be stopping and getting out and taking pictures. We have to practice social distancing. We've seen our numbers climbing. We're doing the best we can to control it. And if I'm around town, I see everyone wearing their masks, and I thank everyone for cooperating, because that's critical for us to be keeping each other safe during these horrible times. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving and ate lots of turkeys. I know Dave gave away lots of turkeys, and thank you, Dave, for all that you do every year with your turkeys. And hopefully everyone got to see some of their family. I know we split ours up 3 ways. Instead of being together, we had 3 separate Thanksgivings, and we just made the best of it. So unfortunately, I think Christmas is going to wind up being exactly the same way. Everyone stay safe, follow the guidelines. Let's get through this together as a city. We're strong as a city, and we support and help each other. Nice to see everyone tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave?
Well, my prayers also go out to Lenny Nix, and I was also in that nursing home getting my hip replaced that Lenny Nix was in. So let's keep his family in our prayers. Also, I would like for everybody to think about your neighbors or the elderly during this vicious time. Today we had 31 new cases. So far for the city since March, we got 2,337 cases. We have 124 deaths. We haven't had any new deaths since July. Thank God. Me, myself personally, I have been checked 16 times, all negative, thank God. I'm asking everybody to mask up, wash your hands, practice social distancing. God bless. Good night.
Thank you, Dave. Leo?
Well, first of all, we always we're gonna remember Lenny. Lenny used to pop by my house and sometimes stop the car and we talk sometimes. And the council meeting after the session was over, sometimes we keep talking. And my condolences go to the family and to Gary, Petey, and Richie that they always used to go to visit Lenny in the nursing home. Like Kathy said, now we got a 2-way street. And please, the bicycle, they have to be away from the sidewalks. And the other problem that we got sometimes is electric mopeds, electric bikes in the street. That are going to put in danger the people that want to use the sidewalks. And there's no question that from now to May, there's going to be these political attacks, and that's where they are. And I used to, but when we talk about the incident roads, it's simple. Sometimes I get phone call, residents, they want to talk to me, residents, they need help. I always go to see them, or I give it the opinion by phone. And in this particular case, maybe Bridget referring to a member of the Board of Education that he invited me to come to the sidewalk of his house because he wanted to talk about a particular situation. And that's what I did. I was talking to him in the sidewalk, and there was like a conversation between me and him. Is that the incident that maybe the board member want to characterize as an argument? No, it was not. It was only like a conversation. But bring him in, find out what really happened. I am here to answer anything. I adjusted, this is only a game. Before I used to get mad, and finally, I understand this is a political game, and I know how to play the game. So be safe, use the mask, wash your hands, don't go out of your house only in emergency, and we see you next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so as it mentioned, we did have our virtual holiday tree lighting last night. If you go to hackensack.org/videos, you'll be able to see it. You can also look it up on YouTube. Also on hackensack.org/events, you'll see the gingerbread house competition, which was mentioned before, and also the drive-through Winter Wonderland through Fashini Park. Lenny Nix, I got to give a thanks out. Thanks to Pete for notifying me today. And Pete knew Lenny, but Gary Terzano was very close with Lenny for years. I think one of them was in the other's wedding, if I'm not mistaken. So they go way back. And Gary always kept a lookout for Lenny and make sure he was okay, because he had some rough going for a good part of his life ever since he got back from Vietnam.
I think they celebrate the birthday the same day. I think they got the birthday the same day.
Yeah, so they were close. And Gary served also in the armed forces. I think Gary was Army. And Lenny was a character, to say the least. But I wanted to give a special thanks to Gary for watching over Lenny as much as possible and helping him out whenever he could, and visiting him, and all the guys that went to visit him. I appreciate that. The two-way Main Street has been an experience. The first, I made a habit. I drove my wife crazy because every night I would tell her I'm going down the Main Street because I wanted to see what it was like. And the first week or so was pretty tough. Like, people going the wrong way, and it was, even though the street was divided with cones, it was just it was a sight to see. But it straightened itself out in a few days, and it's doing pretty well. But the double parking thing has to end. And Ted, we're going to have to really put some men on the street to make sure it doesn't happen. Last night, coming back from the tree lighting, I went down to watch them turn the lights on. When it was coming up Main Street, some guy just double parked, ran into a store, and expected everybody to just stopped all the traffic on Main Street. I couldn't believe it. And in the future, once we get the cops on the street, when Main Street's a full two-way, you will get a ticket. And if not, you will be towed, because we're not going to tolerate just, I only need 5 minutes. Everybody needs to wait for me. That's not going to happen. You're going to get a ticket or towed. Just want to bring up again, free parking on all of Main Street, all the meters, and Anderson Street. It's free parking. We're going to continue that right to January 2nd will be the first day of enforcement for parking meters. Our Hackensack Fire Department issues, I believe we have 8 actual firefighters who were COVID positive. I think the rest are out on quarantine. Hopefully that number stays like that and these guys get off quarantine and get back to work, but we've managed it pretty well. The chief had a plan, and it's put some people up, brought some other people, changed their what they were doing, put them back on the trucks, and we're fine right now. But if it were to change, the manager in chief would have a plan, and believe me, Hackensack will be safe, and we have a great fire department. The quarterly newsletter, which came out today, is not just about affordable housing. It's about a lot of other things. It talks about COVID issues. It talks about what's going on and other things in the city. It also is your recycling calendar for the 2021 year, which is very important. That always comes out in December. And make sure you don't throw that out. Put it on your fridge or put it someplace, because you can always have it to refer on, to make sure you're putting stuff out on the right night or right day. COVID-19. You all know I work in Hackensack Hospital. This second wave is no joke, folks. We're getting hit hard. Numbers are, the average amount of cases in Hackensack daily has been somewhere between 30 and 40 for like the last 2 weeks. And that's a lot. It's an awful lot. By the grace of God, no one has died in Hackensack since July. But that could change if we don't change what we're doing and make sure we social distance, wash our hands, wear our masks, don't have don't have gatherings that are unnecessary. We need to be very, very careful. As you know, the governor passed right before Thanksgiving, no more than 10 people in your house, all right? Mask up whenever you can, even in the house, especially if you have people in your house that aren't immediate family. He actually recommends now just, you should only have the people in your house that live there to, if you can get away with that, if you're not having any events or anything. But we need to be safe, folks. We need to really take this thing to the finish line, get this vaccine done, and be on our way with this virus, because quite honestly, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of dealing with it at work. I'm tired of dealing with it with the city. And it's a stressful time for all of us, but we need to stay the course and do all the things that we're being asked to do by the people, the professionals. So please wear your masks. Don't do stupid stuff. Don't go around people who aren't wearing masks. Be careful when you shop. Wipe things down constantly. I mean, I keep wipes in my car just to wipe things down when I buy them and wipe down shopping carts and everything else. So please be safe, and we'll see you on December 22nd for the next council meeting. Thank you, and everybody have a blessed night. Be safe. Good night.
John, I think we have to also close the executive session, right?
Yes.
And this meeting, right? Okay, just a reminder.
So I just got to, yeah, we have to close the executive session in a motion.
I'll give a motion to close the executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now I need a motion to close the council meeting.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, everybody, stay safe, please.
Where is Debbie?
I'm here.
Okay.
The mayor was doing it all. I was just letting him do it. We're done.
You good?
All right,
We're good.
good night, everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.